The 100 Season 3 Episode 15 Perverse Instantiation Part 1. Hopefully I said that name right, because I just don't know if I did or not, but this episode was pretty cool. With it being technically the first half of the season finale, it was definitely a crazy start. I mean, it went pretty much from the very beginning. I mean, we may have had maybe, I don't know, probably 10 minutes where it was kind of like, they're figuring out the plan, what are we going to do next? And then even within those 10 minutes, it was like, there's Alie. Someone in this group has been chipped, and we have no idea who it is. Most likely, it's possible it could have been Clark, but just because she was the main character, that probably would have been the biggest shock if it was actually Clark. But someone's, being controlled. It could be Rowan, who actually comes back, being super cool as usual. His introduction was actually pretty funny in this episode. Like, he kills a guy, and he's like, all right, this is mine. I'm taking it, to Ontari. And she pulls the gun on him, and he's just like, and he just grabs it out of her hand and just tosses it. I'm like, wow, this guy he's full on Terminator. Like, he can just do whatever he needs to, and he'll survive. But, we don't know who's chipped, and then it's like, all right. They did a really good job as well, because of course they did it, like, the people got in the truck, and then they take off, and Allie's gone, so it's like, all right, it must be one of them. But I was like, they could have easily played it as it's Rowan, because, like, him being shot, it was like he could have faked that, and then he was knocked out. It still could have been him, and Alie doesn't give a crap. She'd easily sacrifice somebody if she wants to. So it just made sense. I'm like, it could be him, but I was like, that's probably a trick, but it could be someone. Yeah, I just figured it was someone in the truck. And I like the way they played that. It ends up being Jasper, which unfortunately negates the scene that they have, because Monty and Jasper finally have this moment where it's like, Jasper's done. Like, he's kind of done hating everybody. And I was like, this is a really cool moment, because they've been, they're like the best friends of the show. And they were torn apart the whole season. I was like, cool, this is a nice little moment. And, it kind of sucked. It was like right after that, Monty sees the hard drive, and then poof, Alie shows him, just like, crap, it's Jasper. And he stabs him, and I was so glad, of course, that Monty survived. And I was freaking out that they'd actually have to kill Jasper. I'm like, Monty's already gone through basically 2 deaths of his mother. And then he lost his father, before even seeing his father on Earth. So, lost him, lost his mother twice, basically. And then he'd have to kill his best friend. So I was really glad Jasper didn't actually die off in this episode. And we still have, kind of the idea that he could die, or someone could die, because, of course, and I still can't remember her name, but, she shows up, is like, why'd you guys lock the door? Jasper knocks her out, so he has a gun on her, and Monty and Raven have to figure out what they're going to do in order to save her, even though now they're back in Allie's code, and seemingly that was great. I was like, oh, cool, like, he has no idea, well, technically Alie has no idea they got back into the code. And then it was like, oh, well, now there's leverage, so it doesn't matter that they've gotten so far, because especially now they can't go into the code, because it's like, oh, you've already started, well, then she's dead, and so they kind of really have to balance out what they're going to do. So we kind of left that off on a pretty big cliffhanger. We go into the city, we find out, of course, once we learn somebody's chipped, Alie knows everything, so everybody's going in. Plan completely falls apart. We have Rowan and Clark walking in, they get busted. Rowan gets shot, which I don't think he actually died. I hope they didn't kill him off, but he was shot in, like, the upper chest region, but he was alive when he was on the ground, so I was like, okay, it wasn't, like, right in the heart, so he didn't get killed. So I'm hoping he's alive, and he makes it, into the next season, because I really like his character. But he gets shot, Clark gets taken away, everyone in the tunnel seemingly gets defeated. It's like, crap, they got busted too, because they were about to do, like, smoke grenades and stuff. They all get taken down, and then Murphy, Pike, and Indra show up, save them, so the plan kind of reforms. They have to find a way to get to Clark, who's now being tortured by her own mother, and, she's being stabbed with the scalpel and stuff, and it's like, alright, she's not going to break. We can't really get to her friends, because they've all kind of banded together now, and then they have her mother try to commit suicide. Fortunately, she didn't die. I was like, this whole episode, I was like, there were probably like 6 or 7 different positions or different points, I was like, someone could die in this, and it makes perfect sense. Like, her mother, they might not get there in time. She could die. Back at Arcadia, any of them could die, really. Like, I know Allie's like, oh, destroy the machine, everything's fine. That's just not going to be the case. But, someone could die there. They're in just a bunch of different positions. The bomb goes off. I'm like, I hope Indra as well as Kane, I hope they both survive. If I remember right, Kane was at like the big explosion with the nuke, so they've survived bigger explosions. Hopefully they've done it again. That was also a great moment because it really shows how far Indra has come as a character as far as trusting Kane, and how they formed a really good relationship. Like, she understands that he does have the best interest for both the Sky Crew and the Grounders. So I thought that was really cool. Like, she chose to save him. And so I hope that they both made it and that they're both okay. Everyone goes up, the elevator shaft. We have seemingly everything kind of works out in a sense at the end. Nobody dies. They save everybody. The ultimate plan completely fails because, of course, the idea of Luna completely failed. So it's like, all right, we have to go back to Ontari and make it work. And then she gets hit in the head. I was like, they might be able to do something, but she was brain dead, so they have nothing. And now the finale is Clark going into the City of Light, and I can't wait to see how all that plays out. She's going to have to run around and try not to get controlled. And based on the trailer, it seemed like her mom was like trying to wake her up after she took the chip on the throne. So I think they got her mom and Kane back somehow. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out, because it looked like they were there, and it wasn't like anybody was fighting or anything. It looked like they were genuinely concerned about Clark, and like kind of hunkering down inside of the little room. So I think they somehow got them out. Maybe she was able to get to them inside the City of Light, and with Raven on the other end of the computer, it's like, all right, I can basically channel code through you into your, into them. So I'm excited to see how that's supposed to play out. But crazy freaking, technically, like I said, it's the first half of the finale, so it was definitely as insane as you would expect from a finale. And then, the conclusion, I just can't wait to see how they, play things. I hope everything works out in Arcadia, but I don't think it will. And with Raven going into the code, which we know is going to happen based on the promo, I think that adds a lot of risk as to what Monty has to decide and how he's going to kind of continue on in this next episode. Is if really, who's he going to lose? Because I think that might be how it plays out. I hope it doesn't, because like I said, he's already lost so much, very recently. But it seems like that might be how things are going to end up playing out. He's going to have to make a decision, whether it's the girl he has feelings for or basically his brother. I mean, so we'll have to wait and see. But I certainly love this episode. Great first half. Hopefully everyone survives, but we've already lost so many people. I'm hoping that this somehow becomes like a miracle thing and they make it and nobody actually dies. But even despite them having recently killed off quite a few characters, well, killing off 3 characters is quite a few in a normal show, but having killed off 3 characters, I can only hope that they won't, that it'll kind of be sort of, TV magic, and they plan just, even when they fail, they go right and nobody ends up dying. That's all I can really hope for, but I just have to assume somebody's not going to make it out, and it's almost impossible to guess who it would be, but I just don't think everyone's going to make it, unfortunately. But very excited for the finale, or part 2 of the finale. Really enjoyed this half, but of course I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course we have Clark going into the City of Light, which is probably the craziest thing ever. I just never even considered that we'd get like an in-depth look into the City of Light, which I'm very excited to see, even though it's just going to be like a normal city. Really, it's like they filmed somewhere, some downtown city, I'm sure. But we'll get to see even more parts of it, more buildings and stuff like that. So looking forward to it, and I'm very curious, of course, how they're going to finally defeat Alie, how they're going to implement this kill switch. Maybe if they do the thing where Raven channels code through Clark, maybe that will be how they defeat Alie. They'll use the kill code, and they'll just do that through Clark, and she just literally has to get her hands on Alie, which could go one of 2 ways, because I would assume it's the same way. Like, she has to stay away from everyone so they can't infect her with Allie's code, basically. So we'll see how it plays out, but definitely want to know your expectations, how you guys think that's going to work. If you think someone will die, I would love to know your predictions on that, like if it'll be from Arcadia or if it'll be at the Capitol. But definitely want to know your expectations, and what you guys, if you just want to see something, I would love to know that as well. And of course what you guys thought about this first part of the finale. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.